Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Yokoten. We are speaking about best business practices. Now, last 2 weeks we spoke about sales, most important, I would say, a topic for any organization. One of our clients actually reach out to us and ask, Asitha, is inside sales team is important for an organization? So we thought about talking about inside sales. What is inside sales, and do you really need to have an inside sales team apart from your sales team, and why it's important? So we are going to dive into that topic. Yasas, do you
Hi.
have anything? Hi, Yasas, hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Same place, right?
Same place. Couple
Right.
of seconds after.
Absolutely. Okay, let's because we have a very limited time, 20
Sure.
minutes, sharp 20 minutes. Within this 20 minutes, let's give a very impactful knowledge as well as wisdom, and also, folks, whatever we are sharing is purely based on our experience. You might agree or you might disagree. That's perfectly all right. But what we are sharing here today is what is working for us and how we have served our clients.
Correct.
Let's
And
establish that.
that's a nice way of saying, Yasas, you talk too much, so we have 20 minutes. Anyway, coming back, inside sales. Before
Yes.
inside sales, Asi, I think it's important to understand what account-based marketing or ABM is about. Because if you're in solution selling, if you're selling larger solutions, like we were talking about our experience in solution selling in one of the episodes,
Yes.
you are supposed to work across multiple people in a decision-making unit.
Yes.
And in that you need to have the right people involved. Now, to get to that, that's where you need to have your leads, your
Correct.
prospects pipeline.
Correct.
And finding your prospects, like we talked about in the previous episodes, it's a time consuming thing. You need to figure out who your ICP is, you need to figure out the individual personas, you need to figure out the decision making units,
Yes.
then you need to figure out if it's email marketing, the email addresses,
Correct.
if it's inbound, then you know what sort of messages and what inbound tools you need to use. For an example, if you run a campaign, landing pages to how you collect those databases. If it's outbound, what methods of outbound you're going to use, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's email,
Correct.
blah blah blah.
Yes.
So all this has made life a bit complicated. Whilst we did talk about how easy it is today
Yes.
compared to the olden days,
Yes.
the golden days
Golden days.
walking to prospects and kind of tapping on the door and say, hey, I'm so and so, I'm here to sell you this, to having all this information, having all these tools, figuring out how are you going to get in to talk to them, how do you get the doors open, as you said, how do you get that appointment. So this requires focus of someone to be seated and do some particular work to get the doors open.
Correct.
And that is the inside man's job, which means you need a sales team who is inside your organization. Now, when I mean inside, it doesn't mean you have to sit in your office. It can be remote, can be working from home, but needs a particular focus. It's not a field sales team.
Correct.
We used to be field sales in that aspect, because we are always out, we are talking to people, we are visiting people. Yes, we are in office, but that's probably to do the administration work, get the invoices done, do the proposals and quotation. Now, that's another part. Inside sales can also help in the other work, like doing the quotations, doing the proposals, doing whatever that requires you to be in office.
That's actually a different question. I had it, but you answered. So before we dive into the main concept of inside sales, yes, as I would like to know from your perspective. Now, since you were talking about like door tapping and then calling, I still remember when I used to work for Suntel, and we had a 15-member sales folks, right, sales team, and there was another 30 members who actually supported these 15 members. Their job was to find customers, and through purely cold calling, find customers and generate the lead and pass it on to us, while we are finding new clients, right? So I believe now I understand the fact that they were doing certain portion of inside sales.
Definitely.
Now, coming back to our conversation, inside sales, when you talk about inside sales, we are specifically speaking about IT industry, tech folks, because the sales cycle takes a longer timeline for the conversion of the sale, And in your perspective, why do you really think it's important to have a team who can support these direct sales guys who are going and meeting them physically and convincing them? Do you really think that it's important to have a separate team to support them, or why? So the second question is, why do you think that uh, the sales people itself should do what the inside sales folks are doing?
Shouldn't do.
Shouldn't do. Yes, shouldn't do. Yes.
Right. So let me answer it this way, Azi. Number one, salespeople, and this is my personal belief. If you are a good salesperson, now when I say salesperson, don't think of somebody wearing a tie, waving, those electric rackets to catch flies. This is not what we talk, because I remember one of the workshops when we did, remember, for the youth to educate them about selling. One girl stood up and said, "Oh, today I understand what a salesperson is, because my parents think when it's sales, it's somebody who's selling door to door, tapping on the door and annoying, and they don't like salespeople."
Correct.
Right? When you mean sales, we are talking of somebody who is very experienced, who knows the subject well, and who can understand a problem and explain to even a C-level person. So that type of resource, Asi, is generally experienced, well updated, educated, and costly. Now, on the other side, if you look at what you just said, now, what you said was right. Your team at Suntel had kind of an inside sales team, because there was a team who was always doing calls, getting the leads and getting the inbound inquiries and passing it to sales team. Now, that was possible because it was a telco. Most organizations don't have that kind of operation. If it's inbound from a telephone call, it's probably the receptionist, or it's probably secretary who would pick that, right? Who has no sales skills. They are just used to saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is so and so organization. Who do you want to speak to? And blah blah blah. Take it and then pass it on. That's it. So there's no sales skills involved. Number one. Number two, many organizations don't have big teams. Even if the solutions are expensive and big, they don't have big teams. So if you try to get the field sales team, whether it's a business development representative, business development consultant, business development manager, you have all sorts of designations today, to also sit and answer calls, you're putting experience, expensive resources to do something that can be done with someone who can be trained at a lower salary scale with a more focus to handle it. You're now passing someone senior to do it.
Yes.
So it's not the best way to use your senior resources. And frankly, if you look at even us, we like talking. We like meeting people. We like solving problems. And if I am asked to take call after call, or work on email writing, finding ideal customer profiles, I don't think I can sit and do that the whole day. Right? And even if I do it, I might not do it in the best. Not that I can't do it,
Yes.
but whether I would want to do it is a question. So most of the senior sales people, they don't have the knack of doing that. They are not interested to do that.
I'll reframe what you said. Yes, probably this is my understanding about your statement. Probably you can invest that time for something else where you can actually serve a client rather than sitting and doing all that, because it's opportunity cost for us.
Exactly. This is not undermining inside sales. I'm not saying inside sales is quite easy, anybody can do it. No, that's why I said the receptionist is not doing that job. The receptionist job is more specialized. Inside sales is more specialized. So for inside sales, you need to have energetic young people, I would say, who can focus on that, because it's all about like a call center. If it's calls, making those calls. If it's doing emails, it's doing the emails, writing finding them, using whatever the tools, and kind of engaging. And today, like we've been talking about this, we are planning to have this workshop for the tech industry, for the tech sales team, where we want to give them hands-on experience on how they can use these tools to kind of generate leads and get the doors open in 30 to 60 days.
So for the generation leads, I would say, Yasas, maybe like initially we do the soft touches where we connect with the individual, build that rapport, build that relationship, build
Yeah.
that connection with that individual, and then go through that process and convince the
Exactly.
client to generate
So
the
that takes, like we say, 30 to 60 days minimum.
yeah.
You can't do miracles where you send one email, you make one call,
No.
and you get the appointment tomorrow. I mean, it would happen in a situation where there's a burning problem in the customer side, and you got into the right moment when they need a solution tomorrow, which is very, very rare. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen, it does happen, but it's very rare. So in a situation like that, yes. But generally, the point you said, building that trust to get the door open and not to be salesy from your first message, whatever it is, whether it's chat or email or call, it needs that time. And for an example, you've made calls in your life. You
Yes,
know, when somebody is busy, they would say, don't call me now. Even if they have the need, they'll say, call me tomorrow, call me at this time. And if you don't call them at that particular time, you've lost that opportunity.
Absolutely.
You have a small window to serve them.
Correct, correct.
And if you are a field sales guy who's getting meetings, your priority is that. And that particular time you're supposed to make the call, maybe you're at a client side.
Yes.
And you miss it. And you start by saying, hey sir, I'm sorry I missed this call. Please, I'm busy again.
And not only that, for the sales, the field sales guy, they have to manage the customer's problem also, right?
Exactly.
Once you give a solution to a client, they will obviously call the field sales guy, not the customer care or not the ISR
Exactly.
or not the
That-
CEO, MD.
That's
So,
where account management comes in. So you're probably now you stepped up to an account manager role. So you're probably solving a different problem at that moment. So you need to have a person or a team who's focused in inside sales. So to answer your question, it cannot be done. Not that it can't be done. It should not be done by senior business development or sales teams. It should be another team who's focused on doing inside sales because they are handling digital, they are handling all these new tools, and they need to have the knack and that interest because that team also, as I said, is specialized. They need to consider it like a puzzle. How do I find this ICP? Where are they? Try things, speak with their digital teams and run different campaigns. Try different messaging because we talked about hyper personalizing. How to kind of improve your hyper personalization. What parameters, variables they need to look at into their hyper personalization. There's a lot of A/B testing. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and you need to do it focusedly. So you do need two different teams, and you have two different skill sets that is required for that.
I really like the fact that you said you don't need a different team to do that, but obviously when it comes to the skill set of it, you need to have two skill set to manage it. One thing that you said, shared, Yasas, when you were given the answer, it's actually a very interesting point. Marketing versus the sales folks, right? So we have observed when we connect with our clients, especially we are speaking to the decision maker, the senior folks, and a challenge that they have is, hey, we are investing a lot of money for marketing, we are doing advertising, we are doing all these things, but we are not getting any leads, we are not getting any inquiries. So marketing activities are done by a separate team. Do you think, in your perspective, is it necessary to have clarity between the marketing leadership as well as the sales folks, or do you have a different ideology towards this question? Because senior management expectation versus marketing expectation versus sales guys expectation.
Okay. My personal opinion, a lot of people are going to hate me for this. Okay. I am thinking at the world in a different way, and I've told this in many forums. I believe sales and marketing should be sales and marketing. Sales and marketing means marketing and digital marketing. All should be one team. Reason being, in many organizations we see them working in silos, working against each other,
Correct.
working with different objectives, and each team thinking that they're better than the other. And I'm sorry to say this, but
that's the reality, right?
that's the reality. That's breaking what you're trying to make. And this is why you have those kind of questions. If you have one team that's responsible for the entire budget of marketing and sales and promotions and activities, then they'll be answerable to that whole team. That way there's no, oh, sales didn't tell me this, I don't know who the ideal customer profile is, or we've told marketing they don't get it, their campaigns are not working. All this, cross firing doesn't happen. And this is where I said people hate me. I definitely think marketing is very, very important.
Correct.
The same way sales are important. But both teams think the other way. We are more important than the other team. If marketing is a team that comes from sales background, I feel that will be much, much better because they understand the consumer psychology. If marketing people have solved even a pen in their life, they look at the marketing problems in different way. And then they will really look at solving a better problem than just running campaigns. And to do that, what you asked was, management has expectations that things are working, things are not working, I'm spending this much, where's the return? Then you will be able to really justify and explain, because it depends on the product and the service that you're talking of. Sometimes you need to build awareness, sometimes you need to build brand, sometimes you need to educate, sometimes it's pure conversion. But whatever the stage and the objective, there is an ideal customer profile, there are personas, there are interests, there are behaviors you need to monitor. And this should come from the sales team who is on ground, who's talking to the prospects and customers, right? Marketing teams need to also spend time to understand, and they need to be clear about what they're doing. Now, the problem with sometimes senior leadership teams are, they would say, we're spending X amount, we need immediate sales. But the objective for the initial stage might not be sales. It might be creating awareness, getting more reach, education. And then once that is done, we all talk about the sales funnel, right? You're talking of top of the funnel activities.
Yes.
And then you get the mid of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel activity, which is then inquiries. That it's the lower part of the funnel we have less qualified, like from marketing qualified to sales qualified leads that needs to work on conversion. So that's the moment that you can really make conversion. Now e-commerce is a bit different because sometimes it's impulse buying also. So this funnel probably happens at the same time. It doesn't take days, but we are talking of solution selling. That funnel takes time. You need account-based activities done. You need to do multiple things, demonstrations, meetings, negotiations, technical document sharing. So marketing plays a vital role. Content that goes for account-based marketing has to be converting content. They need to have the mindset of, okay, if it's awareness, this is the type of content. If this is education, this is the type of content. If it's conversion or supporting negotiation, this type of content. So in solution selling, marketing has to work closely with the sales team. So it's a tricky thing. I mean, you need to, today the days are changing, and you need to look at how you're going to structure your company in a way that everybody works together. And people should not work in silos, definitely. And as you know, we've done trainings, workshops to build people to work together, make them understand, work in unity, be more empathetic, and so on and so forth. So I think that brings another topic for us to talk about on another day.
So what literally you are saying here is, whatever the department that you represent in your organization, you are representing the organization. However, you need to have that collaboration, connection, and also to understand the persona of the clients that you are serving. You need to know your ICP, right? Whether it's finance folks, whether it's HR guys, whether it's the senior management, or whether it's the middle management, whether it's sales or customer care, right? Admin department, operations, period. You need to know your ICP, ideal customer profile, and also do that collaboration, because I feel this is my personal opinion, I'm sharing Yasas here. Heart of an organization is sales guys,
Definitely.
right? And literally you live when the heart is pumping, and you need to have the other elements to support the pump. And I feel in an organization, other elements are the support functioning for heart to beat in that rhythm, right? So since we are talking about inside sales and why it's important for sales folks, one last question because of the timing. Yes, what is your personal observation related to, because you spoke about skills differentiations, the different skills that these folks need to have. what is your personal, rather advice or opinion for the senior management, let's say highly functioning IT organization, if they wanted to establish a inside sales team to support the sales guys, what advice or what slash opinions you would give them?
Speak to us.
I like that. I like. Speak to us.
Speak to us. Well, first of all, you need to change your mindset. You can't do it how you used to do it. That's first, I would say. You need to look at each unit supporting each other, and you need to spend money to get money. Right? Biggest problem I feel is sometimes budget, because marketing gets budget, sales doesn't, or sales budget is for different things.
And finance is always trying to cut budget.
I wouldn't want to bring it that way, because I felt you're a bit biased also when you said, sales is the heart. I have a different way. I think sales is definitely important in an organization. Sales is the most important thing, because everyone should be a salesperson, no matter what department they are working.
True.
So employees, the people in the organization are the most important, and every person has to be a salesperson, and they need to be taught why it's important, because everybody gets a salary thanks to their customers. That's the most important thing.
True.
If you don't have customers, nobody gets paid, not even the security
100%.
guard, not even the person who cleans the place. So everybody has to have that sales mindset. And when I mean sales mindset, is not being sales, not selling.
Yeah.
So to coming back, I think senior leadership needs to establish that. That's the first thing they need to do. They have to create a mindset that everybody is a salesperson in the organization. Lastly, they need to make sure that they put the money in the right way in building the right processes to build trust and build empathy, because not selling just because I see there are a lot of videos even on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, where people are saying, I can sell ice to an Eskimo, right? I can sell whatever to whatever. I mean, gone are the days you talk about that. You don't sell things just because you should sell. You should sell solutions to problems, people with problems. And that is the most important thing. You need to have people who understand the problem, sell it to the right person, to the right context. So I think it's time for everyone to relook at the sales problem and figure out and put the right money and the budget. So I would say speak to the right teams, right people, experts.
Speak to the right experts.
To figure out, because it's not easy today to solve it on your own.
Absolutely. It is our commitment to bring value to you, and this session is a session where we always bring value to you. And thank you so much, Yasas, for sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge. And next week also we will have we are going to bring a special guest for the next week, isn't it, Yasas?
Most probably we'll have a guest.
So see you next week, and thank you so much for trusting us. I am Asi.
And I'm Yasas. See you with another interesting episode of Yokoten. Bye.